Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the next round of the Belgian F4 Championship. This is round 2, and tonight we should have about 2 hours of racing, and that means we have 4 30-minute races to go. First, we will see the AM class with 2 races, and next we will have the pros also with 2 races. So looking forward to this one. It's an old school track, Oulton Park, and I'm not commentating alone this evening. Also, Thomas Leijsen is joining me. So good evening, Thomas, as well.
Good evening, Ronald. Looking forward to this one. Oulton Park, old school, as you said, old school track. And it seems wide, but especially in the section that we're watching right now, it's so narrow. And whenever I drive here, it's always hard to find opportunities to pass, even though you're faster than your opponent. It's so difficult to find a place to make a calculated risk and make that move. So yeah, definitely looking forward, Ronald. Do you have any favorites tonight in the AM classes? Because we had a strong contenders field in Zolder last time out. Do you remember any massive great drives over there, or what?
Yeah.
What do you think will happen tonight?
I believe 4 of the AM cars got into the feature race, and I believe the car that is on pole position at the moment, Mathieu Mol, was also in the feature in the last round. Other drivers, I don't know from the top of my head, unfortunately, but tonight they are driving alone because we don't want to risk having a missed consolation again. So we decided to have 2 races for each class, but without mixing the classes. So that's also a nice opportunity for the AM drivers. There's a smaller field, so we can have some attention and give some extra attention to the drivers in this class as well, because otherwise they might end up somewhere in the middle, or sometimes also at the back of the grid when you mix them with the pro class. So 2 races completely for them, so they have the spotlight on the drivers. And it's a tricky track. It's a small old school, and it's without a chicane, so it's also very fast, with some very exciting corners. Also the slow hairpin, and not always easy to overtake. You really have to have a good exit before the straights to make sure that you might make a move on your opponent.
And I love to see it that Britain's on Hislops is not there, because indeed they're always a bottleneck for the actual racing. But let's have a look at the field, Ronald. What do you see there at the standings?
Well, at the moment we have about less than 20 seconds to go in the qualifying session, but I think everybody is has put in a lap, so we just have to wait until, although Fabrice Pahot is still trying, but I think he will run out of time, unfortunately. Yeah, indeed. So that means that we should have the qualifying results. Let's have a look.
On pole position we have Mathieu Mol, then Kenny Liebert in second position. Van der Smissen Stefan takes third position and completes our podium for the qualifiers on with a 4/10 of a distance. Then Nicolas Cordisco takes up fourth place, followed by Michael Mailleux. Then Fabio Cumbo, Maxime Musin, Julian Agneses, and Dietrich Thieren. Then 10th position would be for Tim Simons, and 11th would be for Geoffrey Roelands, followed by Yves Ponchele. Then 13th would be for Colin Christian. Shana Klaases takes the 14th place. Ellen Leijzen takes 15th. Renzo Uilenbroek, of course, is not in this session. There was some technical difficulties there, but all good. And then Fabrice Pahot with no time as it stands right now, probably due to an off-track of some kind.
Yeah, I think he just joined the race just on time. He tried to set a lap time, but that was a bit too late. So, but good to see him in the session, nevertheless. And that means we have the lights coming on. Oh, I see a car rolling in the back already. And off we go. Looks like a good start by Mathieu Mol, but also Kenny Liebert. And he has got the inside going into the first corner and possibly taking the lead. Although Mathieu Mol seems to have the speed to defend now on the inside of the long left-hander going onto the first long straight with a, and yeah, of course it's a tricky track. We saw a car going off. We might have a look later to see what happened there, but at the moment we are watching the front as they are battling for first position. Kenny Liebert going as the first car into the hairpin. Late move by Stefan van der Smissen as well.
Yeah, we saw someone sticking or spinning down on the inside on the Cascade, and it's such a fast section. If you hit the curb there wrongly, then of course you spin. And then 2 other drivers were the victim of that, I would say. So that's not too good for those drivers, but let's hope they can make a recovery.
Yeah, fierce battle going on between Fabio Kumbo and Michael Maillot as well, as they are trying to follow Stefan van der Smissen. And seems everybody is more or less falling in line now at the last part of the lap. Which is probably the smartest thing at the moment, is to go single file and see what how the opposition is like, to see what you can do. Can you follow the car in front, stay in the slipstream, and then
we have a couple drivers in the pit lane. Ronald, Roelands and Simon already went into the pit lane, so probably that's because of that turn 3 incident. Maybe they did make contact, and of course if you lose that downforce on the F3 or F4 I should say, you lose a bit of that front wing, you're in such a disadvantage. So you have to take that pit lane, that pit stop, and I think they do have a fast repair, right, Ronald? So they should be going again pretty quickly.
Yeah, there's indeed one fast repair available. I will try to see if we can have a look at what happened in the start. But I do think that somebody rolled his car already before the lights went out somewhere at the back. So I think that might be a stop and go penalty as well from one of the cars that went into pit lane. Let's see if we can have a look at what happened at the start.
Yeah, that was the 54 from Tim Simon, who you see rolling there in the red car. And then, of course, that's a false start. So he gets that drive-through, and that basically ruins your race because we're in such a short format now. You never know what happens. But for the rest, we see a clean start through that first corner. No real difficulties there. A bit of battling for position, but that's racing as they go 2 by 2. And then we'll have a look, and we see there. Yeah, that's probably because of contact, maybe. Did we see a touch there, Ronald?
Try to find the exact moment, but it's because it's the start. It's always going back to the actual start of the race as well. But I think it was Nicolas Cordisco who lost the car. Not sure if it was with contact or not.
Yeah, but Liebert on that inside taking a first position. Great move by him.
I think it was somewhere around. You know, it's he just lost it on his own, and then there was a little bit of contact.
Good evasive maneuver by Agnesis, though, to avoid that, potentially race-ruining incident. If you smack into that car full speed, that's game over. So well done by Agnesis, and he can, even though he had to go onto the grass, he can keep that 7th position. Probably not ideal, but he still has a fighting chance.
Yeah, so let's have a look at the order at the moment. We are 4 laps in. Of course, quite a fast track, so a lot of laps to do, probably within the 30-minute time frame. So leading the race at the moment, Kenny Liebert, followed by Mathieu Mol, Stefan van der Smissen running in 3rd place, and they are still quite close to each other. Then we have Fabio Kumbo. And then Michael Mayer from Bautzen by Undercut. Dietrich Thiere, Eagle Speed Academy Esports. Julien Agneses, who we saw involved with that incident. He could just evade the spinning car of Cordisco. I think he had a small tap on the wheels, but it seems like his car is still okay. The next we have Yves Ponchelet running in P8. And then we have our first female driver, Shana Glasses, running in P9 for Dynamics Simulators, followed by Fabrice Pahot, who got late into the session, but running in P10 at the moment, so made up a lot of places already. Then we have Geoffrey Roulans in P11, Tim Simon in P12. Next we have Christian Collin. Ellen Lassen seems to be having some issues with the connection again, I think, because she dropped off the timing and then appeared again, so I think she's having some internet troubles. Then we saw next we see Nicolas Cordisco, who had an issue at the first corner, and I think indeed that something is wrong with the connection with Ellen, because her wheel was hanging loose as well, so seems like she is struggling with the connection. So let's go back to the front of the field where Kenny Liebert is leading the race, and he's pulling away.
I was having a look at the field while you were browsing through the field, Ronald, and Stefan took second position from Mol there. So probably a good move by him, and then we get a change, as we can see here. That's probably halfway the track. Oh, yeah, snap oversteer on that Formula 4 car, and then Mol can basically keep the speed through City Hall, moving towards Druids, and he takes that second place with ease because of an error by Mol. So Stefan in second place, Van der Smissen for our AM class.
Yeah, now it's really also a mind game. You see 4 cars close to each other in the slipstream. You cannot make a mistake because you will lose a slipstream, and then it will be hard to get back into the battle up front. Oh, somebody went off. That looked to me like it was...
Kumbo is dropping back.
I think it is Kumbo indeed. So let's have a look at the incident. What happened there exactly? Just lock up and then into the barrier. And that's on the wheel. So that's definitely going to be a pit stop for repairs, I'm afraid. I don't think he can continue the race like that.
Do you test drive the tracks yourself, Ronald? You've probably already driven on Oulton. And,
Oulton I know, but
corner.
not with this car.
Yeah, but Shell Oil's corner, it's you have to keep. It's such a fast corner, but it's also slow at the same time. It's bizarre to see as we see a battle for second position again. That's Mol going on the inside of Stefan towards that first corner, and he, just basically drives past. A good, smart decision by Stefan to fight another day. There's 20 minutes to go, so he basically puts up a little to none defense, and that means that Mol takes our second place, and these two guys definitely aren't done yet.
Yeah, and we are still early in the race, so their main goal now should actually be to try to catch the leader, Kenny Liebert, because as long as they keep fighting, they will lose the contact with Liebert more and more. It's now a gap of 3 seconds, so I think it's important for them to work together the next couple of laps and try to close the gap. instead of fighting too hard, just work together and then fight it out like maybe in the last 10 minutes of the race. But the next few laps are going to be crucial to keep in touch with the top driver at the moment.
Yeah, Ronald, you drive MX-5 yourself. Imagine you're in that position. So you're in P3 and P2 is slower than you, but you need to work together to get towards that P1. What do? Do you stay behind and hope that the driver in front of you finds the pace to close that gap, or do you make that move and get dropped behind a bit, but then make up for it? What's it like to be in that position?
Well, with the Mazda you can push a little bit, and you can't do that with the F4. But with the Mazda you can try to push and to make sure that the guy in front or the girl in front is hurrying up. But yeah, it's well, you can be sure if you start fighting, you will lose time. That's for sure. So the only thing you can do is try to work together. And if you're really faster than the car in front, you can try to go for the overtake. But then it has to be done quickly and fast. Otherwise, you will lose time.
Yeah, fair enough. Meanwhile, we also have a battle for P7 indeed. Thank you for switching, because we're not only looking at the front, as you can see, these guys are scrapping it out and trying to decide who's allowed to take that 7th position, as we see classes moving up right now, but over the grass.
Oh, nice move there.
It's not done yet, neither is Ronald Pahout, I don't know, is now has taken advantage of that and also moved up the order through Druids, moving towards Lodge and then towards the start finish. But what a battle, Ronald.
Yeah, it was very nice. Battle between Shana, Fabrice and Yves Ponchelet. I wanted to say OC. Also Fabrice. Yves and Fabrice. Fabrice joined quite late, but he's making some ground. Was able to pass Shana, as we saw just happen. But indeed, nice battle between the three cars there, and also great awareness of all three drivers, because they were close to each other, but no incidents.
Yeah, you love to see it, and don't underestimate it. Not all of these drivers are driving in VR or triple screens. They're basically just looking as if they were sorry for the comparison, but as if they were a horse with those side caps on, and they can only see in front just a tiny little bit. It's not like you can move, like you can look around. So you have to rely on the spotter telling you that you're past the car, and you have no clue how close you are. So definitely hats off to these three drivers to make it to keep it clean and respectful.
Yeah, and it's also in real life, if you're in a race car, like in a GT car, for instance, and you have the bucket seat with the shoulder,
with the head
the headrest is almost completely wrapped around you. You have the Hans system as well.
Yep.
You have a helmet on. It's not like you can look over your shoulder to the left and to the right. You also need to create like a virtual image almost in your head about where is the other car, where are the other cars. So it's a good exercise actually as well. If you sim racing can be a good exercise as well to learn how the traffic will behave on a certain track, and so you can more or less guess where the other cars are without really seeing them, but you just build that mental image of the cars around you. And I think that's something we just saw happening.
Yeah, exactly. And if you think it's easy, try driving at the Ring of Antwerp at 8 o'clock and not being able to look over your shoulders. You'll immediately know what these drivers are going through, but at different kinds of speeds, albeit in a simulator. But great racing, and we're looking at Van der Smissen, who's still not left Mol any rest as it stands right now. He will probably be pushing until the end. I haven't watched that gap, Ronald. Did it
It's
come
coming
down
down,
towards
yeah.
Liebert?
Yeah, they are
Okay.
closing in, so they gained about a second at the moment. And as you can see, you look ahead and you see Liebert, but then in front there's another car. I think it's probably not sure who it was, a red car. So
That's probably...
yeah, they're
yes.
going to get into traffic as well. So that might come into play.
Yeah, I would think it's Laza since she's
Yeah,
a
probably.
minute 10 off the pace. Well, not off the pace, behind the lead, I would say. Sadly, she's blinking a bit, so let's
Yeah.
hope that that doesn't influence our leader's race. Because it's always annoying, and yeah, it's the same with qualifying. If you have an open qualifying, not a closed qualifying, there's other cars on the track, and you trust that they move out of the way, but still there's a car there. And the big difference here is you don't know where that car is, and it
Yeah.
does have influence on your pace. Even though you don't want to, it does have influence. Let's hope, as we see Molla taking a bit of grass, but
Yeah, I
keeping it
think
on track.
they went past Ellen because she went off track, unfortunately. But yeah, I was just about to say Ellen would get of course the blue flag, and because she's also racing in real life, so she knows the meaning of the flags for sure. And yeah, it just shows you you can have track knowledge in real life, and it certainly helps in sim racing, but it's still you have to adjust a little bit, and you have to also be brave actually to be as a real racing driver to join a sim race, because it's also something very special. It's close to the real stuff, but there are definitely some differences, and you will lack some experience in the virtual world, as we see Stefan van Smissen having a look and
filling
just
up the mirrors.
sizing up Mol. But where is he? Oh, because I think he had he lost a little bit of maybe he went a
probably
little bit wide,
compromised
I'm
the
afraid.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably compromised the line trying to fill the mirrors of Molla. And that's a good idea to do, to keep the pressure on the driver in front. And he doesn't know when you're making a move, if you're constantly faking that move and forcing him to make mistakes. But of course, that also applies to you, and also you are vulnerable to mistakes if you get off that line that you've practiced so many times.
Yeah.
I did see Ronald's position change, I think, for P5. Agnesis and Mathieu did do a swap. And Mathieu there is a second off pace. So probably also went a bit wide or something. I have to check race control. But in general, clean.
At the front, they are closing in on Kenny Liebert, because the gap is now coming down to less than a second, actually. So this battle is going to heat up a little bit. And I just wanted to say, because I just said that it's like Alan is quite brave to join a sim race as a real racing driver, because there are some differences and you really need to adjust to it. And it just shows that it's nice to see that they are trying and not giving up too fast, because in the past we had some real life racing drivers as well that just tried it once and then just gave up, while we see other real racers also join sim racing and they just keep their head down, and in the beginning it just doesn't work as they want to, but in the end, when you just keep trying, you will certainly move up probably a bit faster than somebody who has no racing experience. So it's good to see that both Alan and Shana are in the race and just keep learning, keep pushing. So that's nice to see. And Mathieu Moll is very close to Kenny Liebert at the moment.
Yeah, to pick up on that sim racing part, let's not underestimate that they lose half of their senses, half of their input. When they're in the car and they feel the back end sliding out, they can feel their butt with their butt. They can feel that car sliding, but in sim racing you don't. And that's why for me it's I'm not a Max Verstappen fanboy, not at all. But why I find it so spectacular that Verstappen is not only fast in a real car, but also on sim racing is massively fast, and it's insane that he doesn't need that extra dimension of senses to still be fast, and that's indeed why a lot of real life racers this is not for me, because it's the same, but it's completely different at the same time. It's a very bizarre case, and I think there's no other sport that you can compare with that.
No, indeed, and that's also why you can see other Formula One drivers as well in sim races. Oh, and just as we have a look at Julia Agneses, we see him going off the track. Can keep the car out of the walls, but definitely losing a lot of places now.
Yeah, respect for respect, very gentlemanlike to not just fly back onto the track and not looking at what's behind, but making sure he can rejoin the track safely and not ruin anybody else's race. But that's probably a case of getting on the throttle too early, or how do you view that, Ronald?
Yeah, probably just went a little bit too wide. I think maybe touched the grass a little bit, and then combined with going on the throttle a bit too early, that's probably indeed what happened there.
And there's also that what's it called? The height difference, I would say. So when you come out of that corner, it's a bit downhill, and that causes you to lose a bit of downforce. It's the same basically, but a little bit more exaggerated on the Eau Rouge, or Radio, I should say, where you get up that hill and you lose that downforce that you got just 10 seconds ago or 5 seconds ago. And you have to adapt to that dynamically, because the downforce doesn't stay the same throughout the track. So yeah, very difficult corner. I've also spun it around.
Yeah, me too.
A lot of times, many times in that exact corner. So definitely no shame there.
Yeah, the track drops away from you there, and you have the feeling you think you slow down really quite a bit, but then it always feels like it was too hard, because the track just drops away and you're on the outside very quickly, indeed.
It feels like the fine margins in other corners are suddenly very big, and 10 kilometers an hour is too slow feels like, or 1 kilometer an hour too slow in that corner feels like you're 10 kilometers off pace indeed. It's a very, very tricky corner to get right. As we're looking at Kenny and Moll still going at it. And then we're arriving at that previous question, Ronald. It's an old school track. It's very narrow. It doesn't look like it, but it is very narrow. Where do you place that attack on this
I think
circuit?
Before this corner that's coming up next is one of the zones where you could, if you're alongside the car, you can go for the overtake. That's definitely a possibility. Also in the braking zone before the hairpin it's possible as well. And if somebody
that's about it.
If the other car doesn't make a mistake, it's quite hard. That's indeed that's definitely true. You really have to be close and try to force the car in front into another, and then try to make a move.
Nonetheless, this is still one of my favorite tracks. The flow it has to it, and following the landscape. It's a bit like a light version of Spa-Francorchamps, in my opinion, because it just follows the landscape completely. And I've been driving it on racing games since I was, I think, 8 years old, and it always has a special place in my heart. But yeah, it's qualifying is everything on this track, especially in, for example, a GT3. These cars are a bit smaller, but still very hard to overtake. You can see here how the track follows the curves of the landscape. And Cordisco is not making a move on that driver, but he actually is making a move. It's not for position. But he's still trying to get past, and I didn't catch the number on that car. But we're still looking at P1, Ronald.
Yes, as we see Mathieu Mol again a bit closer than before. He lost a little bit, but now he's back close, and he's going to have a slipstream on this straight, so that will help to close the gap even a little bit more. Then we go into the hairpin as well. Keeping the car really on the inside, while Liebert is going a little bit more wide.
It's the same that we saw, it was at Zandvoort, but it was in a different championship. It was the Formula 3, I think, for Dynamics, where you can see those different lines in the hairpin. And if you take the upper side, it has a different advantage than taking the lower side, because then you can put the car on the inside. Yeah, basically every line has its own advantage, and in hairpins like that, it's it's fun to see that there's different possibilities to take that corner. But I think we're going to see a move by Molo sometime between now and 5 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, coming out of this car is also an opportunity if you can put your car on the inside. But Liebert is defending.
No. We're trying to outbrake, but I saw Mullet going for it. He started the corner trying to outbrake Liebert, but then wisely chose not to commit to that. But of course, because of that failed overtake maneuver, you see him falling back half a second. Now there's a strong slipstream on this circuit, so he might be able to make that up pretty quickly. But Ronald, do you think he maybe was better off waiting a bit before placing that maneuver?
Yeah, if you're not alongside on the inside, then it's going to be hard in that corner. But you really have to coming out of the last corner, and then you have to be immediately next to the car on the inside. But we saw Liebert defending, knowing that is the move he has to cover, and that was what we saw Liebert do. And then Mol said, okay, this is not going to work this time, so maybe next round I'll have a new opportunity. But it's indeed very difficult to overtake, especially if the car in front is defending and knows the track as well and knows what is possible, where to overtake. Then it's not easy to pass somebody else.
In the back, because we've been looking at Liebert and Molo the whole time, but Pahout, I don't know if he's French or Dutch or Flemish, I should say.
Well, I think it's probably Fabrice Pahot.
Pahot?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think it's a French name.
He's also been catching up to Mailleux, and in the back, but that gap became bigger again. I thought it was Roelands and Simon who came very close to each other, but now we're looking at Mailleux, who has to put up a defensive maneuver. No, it was a bit of an optical illusion because it was on the inside of the corner, but that won't take too long if Pao doesn't fall back entirely.
Yeah, he went a bit wide in the hairpin.
Molle also very close again. I saw the gap coming down to underneath 2/10. So there's too much action on track.
Yeah, we'll try to
keep
switch
everything
between all the battles.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ronald, who's also doing the cameras on the side of doing commentary. So big hats off to you, Ronald. As we see Fabrice back in basically underneath the rear wing of Mailleux. And he doesn't make the move here. He closes in massively again. We see that gap coming beneath or under 2/10 towards 1/10, but he's not gonna risk it into that first corner. Maybe he's just studying that opponent to, as you said, make a pass in that hairpin turn.
Yeah, he's close if he has got a good exit. then he might try to move. But it's also difficult because you have that slide. It's a corner, but you can take it quite fast. And then you have the braking zone as well. It's just coming out of, probably with the F4 you don't have to brake that early, but it's out of a corner into the braking zone, and then you have this hairpin. So also very technical. It's not just a fast sweeping track. There are some real technical challenges as well. As we see Pahot trying to get a score next to Maillot. And we already have a race winner. We were looking, enjoying the races. So Kenny Liebert keeps in front of Mathieu Moll, who gets second place. Third place for Stefan van der Smussen. And then Dietrich Thiere will finish in fourth place. Oh, but that was Maillot going off. And that means that Fabrice Pahot will take fifth place. That's going to be, and then Michael Maillot sixth place, and then a very strong finish by Shana Glasses as well, P7, and then we have Julia Agnesis in P8, Tim Simon P9.
Yeah, we were looking at all the racing going on.
Yeah,
that we didn't
tried to
notice
keep
the
up
timing.
with everything, but so much happening. But we were just in time to see Kenny cross the line, as we do see Tim Simon get on the finish line. Geoffrey Roulans as well into P10, and Yves Ponchelet in P11. We should have the results available, so let's have a look at the results quickly, as the drivers have about 5 minutes to cool down and to warm up for the next race. So we saw Kenny Liebert taking the overall victory before Mathieu Moll in P2. P3 is for Stefan van der Smussen. Dietrich Thiere P4, Fabrice Pahot in P5, strong race by him because he started last actually. Michael Maillot P6, Shana Glasses P7, Julien Agnesis in 8th position, Tim Simon in 9th position, Geoffrey Roulans taking P10, Yves Ponchelet P11, Fabio Cumbo in P12, Nicolas Cordisco in P13, P14 for Colin Christian. And then we have Ellen Leijsen, P15, and Maxime Musin, who we lost early on in the race in P16. So that means we have about a few minutes to go before the next race. We also have a special guest, by the way, during this broadcast. I will try to see if we already can get into contact with our guests, and I think he might be here already. So good evening, Simon. Or Simon.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hey guys. Good evening.
So tell us, you have something special to talk about.
Yes. We are extremely happy that we have this season some partners like also the winner of this race, Kenny Liebert, is doing some special trophies at the end of the season. But we also have IMB Raceware that's sponsoring this season, and we got some stuff to give away. So for each round of this event, of this series, we will have a £20 voucher and 1 pair of sim racing socks that we can give away. So I use the socks myself for some years now. I'm really happy with it because I don't like to drive with shoes, but I don't like barefoot either, so the socks are perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And to enter, it's simple. We just have the issue that we don't have bots on the YouTube chat, so we had to improvise a little bit, and we have a Google Doc. I will send the link in the chat, and if you want to win a voucher for imb.com, you can have a look at their website. They have gloves and the socks and shoes that you can fully customize. And they have some awesome designers that will make your special design on it. And to enter this giveaway, you just enter your name and your email or Discord ID in the Google Doc. And then after the pro races, we will randomly take a winner, one for the voucher and one for the sim racing socks. And yeah, we will contact you afterwards.
Can I
So
put
be
names
free.
on my toes, Simon? If I have a name for my big
Yeah,
toe, can I put a name on it? Because you said it's customizable,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm curious to see.
The only thing that's not customizable is the socks. That's
Okay, damn it.
but for the gloves you can do it. It's like the gloves you can completely customize in the design. You get assigned to guy that does the like delivery on the cars. You have a livery for your gloves and also for your shoes. And I can spoil it a little bit just before we go into the next race. We will also have some. Yeah, we are pretty much finished on it, so we can publish it in some days or 2 3 weeks, I think. We'll also have some wear of BSRF that has a special livery, a special design, also a little bit connected to the Belgian F4 Championship. So yeah, you can be very excited.
Yeah, that's definitely nice to hear. So all people who are watching can just have a look at the chat, and then Simon will drop a link where you can put your name in, and then you might win some nice things. So we are ready to look at the grid for the next race, which is just to start the finishing order, of course, of the previous race. So let's have a look. Kenny Liebert is taking the pole before Mathieu Moll. Next we have Stefan van der Smissen, Diederik Thiere in P4, P5 Fabrice Pahot, P6 Miguel Maillot, and P7 Shana classes, Julien Agneses in P8, Tim Simon P9, Geoffrey Roelands P10, Yves Ponchelet in P11, P12 is for Fabio Cumbo. And let's have a look if we can have a few more, followed by Nicolas Cordisco, Colin Christian, Alan Leijsen, and Maxime Musa. And we are getting ready to race once more.
We're looking at the lights. There's one more. We have 5 lights, and it's away we go towards that turn 1 that we saw earlier today without any issues. Let's see if we can get through today or in this session as well. We saw Mathieu and Thieren fighting it out towards going towards turn 2. Now maybe he did get contact there, but what a dive! There's a technical issue probably there, and it's so sad for Pahot. Such a strong start, but he has to take that accident. It's so sad to see, but what a start by Maillot as well, and Liebert still going strong, but we saw Moll with a lockup, or maybe Ronald. There's so much going on.
Yeah, I think it was Van der Smissen who had a lockup, and that Kenny Liebert is pulling away, followed by Michael Maillot. And we have Shana Classes running in P3 at the moment, so quite a hectic start. She came from P7 and is currently in P3, followed by Julien Agneses in the 4th position. So quite a hectic start of the race. And the car, I just can't remember the name, but the car that went onto the grass, it's just, you can't get the car stopped on the grass, that's for sure. So he was a passenger, I guess, as well, and then just smashed into Fabrice Pahot, unfortunately. but not much to do about that, I'm afraid. And that's
Yeah, it's
Mathieu
sad
Mol
to
getting in. Ooh, he has damage as well, indeed. So definitely we have to have a look at some things. As soon as the dust settles down, we can have a look at some of the incidents at the start. Of course, this is the race where you get the points or you lose the points. So probably that's why everybody's just a little bit more tensed and trying just a bit more than before. And that could result, of course, in some small disasters.
Yeah, I find it very strange that there wouldn't be any technical issues there, Ronald, because the car just kept on going straight, no intent of steering into that corner to the left.
Yeah, but I think
Going
it's very
completely
hard
off and
there
not braking at all. There was no loss of speed there. I think we may have had to do there with some technical issues, and of course that does happen. No blame towards the driver, but you can see here, look at the yellow car. The yellow car in the middle there just keeps on going straight, completely straight, no loss, no steering input, and just slams into that P4 car. I think that was a disconnect of some sort of the hardware, because I find it hard to believe that there is no attempt to even recover the car there, and that's very bad news for Pao, of course, who had a very strong race. Yeah, you hate to see it, Ronald. But meanwhile, there is still a race going on. We have Liebert completely, disconnected of the rest of the pack.
Yeah, just gonna have a look again at what happened here. There was maybe just, I don't think there was any contact, but yeah, just looks like something went wrong for sure. Although he can turn the wheel, so I think it's just a matter because just on full speed onto the grass, and then I think you just can't get the car to turn anymore, and you just lose all traction. And then yeah, that was what happened.
Very bizarre.
Let's have a look at some of the other stuff that happened. Oh, that was Van der Smissen who hit the curb and then just
looked like a bit of overspeed as well.
Yeah, overspeed. There was probably missed the braking point a little bit and hit the curb and then just crashed into Mathieu Mol.
Yeah, and then we do have a bit of a more animated, let's say, start of the race to compared to the first heat that we had. But Ronald already told you this is where most of the point, or all the points, correct me if I'm wrong, are,
that's correct,
divided upon all of the drivers, so there is more aggression, and you always see that in these heat formats. The first heat, it's a bit more exploration to see who drives in which style and getting to know the drivers, because it's of course only the second round. But a lot of aggression on this second round, but understandably so, of course. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how this race will evolve for these drivers.
Yeah, it's part of the test, so to speak. You have this first race of 30 minutes. That's close between Classes and Kumbo as well. Classes defending quite good at the moment. So as I was saying, you have it's part of the test as well. You have this first 30 minutes, which are already intense, but that's really to get a better track position for the last race, because the grid is based on the results of the first race. So you can improve, as we saw with Fabrice Pahot. He missed the qualifying, but he could work his way up into P5. So that means he's on the P5 to start. Unfortunately, there were some issues, but you can see you can work your way up. But yeah, of course, it's also requiring the focus in the first race and having the endurance to go on for the next race. That's part of the test as well, of course, because you're already sweating, you're already a little bit tired, and then you have to focus again for the next 30 minutes. And so it's a great test as well to have 2 races just one be after the other, as we see Julien Agnes is having a look and trying to overtake Michael Maillot, who is leaving a little bit of room.
Yeah, on the inside of Druids, and let's not underestimate, because again, it's one of my favorite tracks, Oulton Park. And as you go through 13 City Hall towards 14, and then moving into Druids Corner, suddenly it's a right hand. But that turn 14, it's not really a corner, but it's basically the braking zone towards 15. But the track takes a kink to the left, and if you're alongside, it's so tricky and so risky. So hats off to these guys to make that safe pass there, because it's definitely not easy.
Yeah, this could become a good opportunity for Kumbo. But Klaas is defending very well, keeping the speed up, keeping the momentum going. Kumbo again close next to Shana at the moment. There's a next corner is a right-hander, and yeah, okay.
Yep.
So
it's a smart move.
Yeah,
it's a smart move
Klaas
by Shana to not take any risk into
No.
Knickerbook. You're already on the limit there,
close to each other
but
there.
then try to exactly take the attack back again, because you've compromised. It's actually very fascinating to see, and I don't know if I have time to explain this, but basically what she did was allow her opponents to take the compromised line
the shallow
through
line, indeed.
Knickerbrook, and then to attack back again in Druids, because Shana had the better speed coming out of the corner because she had the optimal line. So very interesting to see that Shana is playing basically 3 or 4D chess here with her opponents. Very cool to see.
Yeah, and she's going to have to work very hard, because another person is knocking on the door, and that is Christian Collin at the moment. And while this battle is going on, we can see Nicolas Cordisco also getting closer. So 4 cars in one shot. Just teasing a little bit, showing himself in the mirrors, but not going for the move just yet. Yeah, and they're keeping close to Fabio Kumbo as well. Nice train of 4 cars going into the last corner, and then onto the start-finish straight. Yeah, and the first corner is also a corner where you can pick up enough track easily on the outside. And we haven't mentioned this just yet, but there are incident points. So if you pick up 10 incident points, like for instance 10 off tracks, then you will get a drive-through. And if you would hit 20 incident points, that would be end of the race for you. Bit of a lock-up there by Christian. And that is allowing Nicolas Cordisco to get into a position where he might attack, or at least close the gap a bit more. I do my best to avoid the trees, but there are plenty of trees on this track. Oh, nice nice moves here into the last, or not the last corner actually, but definitely one of the more difficult corners. Oh, that's a late lunge. And I think there was a bit of contact maybe. And that's giving some peace of mind to Fabio Cumbo, because he could pull away a little bit now. Kenny Liebert leading the race with about 8 seconds, a little bit more than 8 seconds between him and his teammate, actually, Julien Agneses, who was closely followed by Michael Maillot. And then we have Fabio Cumbo closing in on them, while Shana Classes is still running in P5, followed closely by Colin Christian. And also Nicolas Cordisco is still having his eyes on the target in front of them. The red car of Colin Christian and the green car by Shana. Another Auriga Racing F4 driven by Maxime Musin. And he's only half a devil, because his number is 333. And the Auriga racing cars keep coming. In P9 we have Tim Simon as well, or Simon, probably. And also Mathieu Moll is driving for Auriga Racing. Stefan van der Smussen still running in P11. He got some contact with Mathieu Moll at the beginning of the race. And although it's not saying the correct team name beneath his name, but this is definitely also a Auriga racing car. The car of Yves Ponchelet. And then we have a Eagle Speed Academy esports car driven by Dietrich Thiere. And then Fabrice Pahot, who is again has to fight back from the back of the pack.
I think we saw a lead, not a lead change, sorry, but some shuffling in the top 3 as well. We saw Cumbo moving up on Maillot, so Maillot fell back to the 4th position. And that gap immediately is getting bigger. It's already above 2 seconds now, so let's hope there wasn't any
lockup.
As we look here, it's a lockup, then going into the grass. But it seems that all in all,
it's okay.
Maillot can continue without any issues. But that means that Cumbo is in fact a bit faster right now, as we see Liebert putting down the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, and just as we were looking at some other cars, giving some attention to the other cars, we are again missing a lot of the action, because we have Colin Christian now running in P5, and that might be because of... No, he's already... Oh! There was trying to widening the track there, but that's losing her some speed. And then it is Cordisco who is going for a move as well into the braking zone.
And that's one of the passing zones, as you said, Ronald. One of the two prime opportunities or prime corners to make that overtaking move. That's in Lodge Corner. That's one of the two big opportunities, and great to see that Cordisco makes the most of it.
Yeah, it was a bit like, I think it was Hamilton this weekend in Miami, where the car in front overtook somebody. I think it was Perez going by somebody, or not sure, and then he just, a mistake by Colin Christian, and that's hurting Nicolas Cordisco, who has to go into pit lane with some damage. And that's handing over P5 back to Shana classes. Let's have a look at what happened there.
Yeah, again, probably it's that tricky corner again, Ronald. We were already talking about it in Lodge Corner, that the terrain gives way, and if you just into the braking zone, that left front lock up first, and then the car behind the number 6 has nowhere to go because that car is on that apex, and you need, or not the apex, the exit, and you need that exit in order to keep the speed towards turn 1 and the other turns that are coming up.
Yeah, I lost the car already going into the corner, actually. So probably realized he wasn't going to make the apex, and then maybe pushed the brake pedal a little bit too hard, lost the car, and then unfortunately was in the way of Cordisco, who had to visit pit lane as well.
Meanwhile, we're looking at our leader still, and he hasn't really been challenged this heat. The closest follower is about 9 seconds away, so Liebert, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, should be able to take this win. But Agnesis will do everything in his power to not let that happen, but it's gonna be very hard to catch up to Liebert, who's been driving very solid throughout this round.
Yeah, the closest car, or the fight we saw before in Heat 1 was between Stefan van der Smissen and then Kenny Liebert and also Mathieu Mol. But those dropped back at the start of the race, and that's why Liebert isn't really under any threat at the moment.
And that's how the race can evolve. Huh? It's the incidents take it, and incidents take it away. It's a double-edged sword. So sometimes it's in your advantage, and sometimes it cuts you. But Liebert currently pulling the longest straw out of all the incidents that we've seen unfold this race. Let's not forget about Classes, who's driving a really strong race in this feature race, or this Heat 2 on Oulton Park.
Yeah, indeed. We saw her in some battles already, and showing great awareness actually about where the other cars are on track, avoiding all the shenanigans and just
Shenanigans?
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans? Oh, that's a nice one. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, strong race so far, and showing a great, like I said, great awareness about where the other cars are, and just battling in a fair and nice way, but not giving in too early. We saw her fight back a couple of times, so good job so far.
Yeah, and that's why she has that P5 at this moment. And I think we've kind of settled the order as it stands right now, as long as there aren't any mistakes. But let's not forget that a mistake on Oulton Park is lurking around the next corner, because, yeah, we've already mentioned it's an old school track, very narrow. You have to keep the speed in the car, but also keep it on the track as on most tracks. But on Oulton Park, it's just a tad bit more difficult.
Yeah, maybe it's a good idea to jump on board with Maxime Musin, so we can have a feel from inside of the car as we go into the hairpin, heavy braking zone, into second gear, just rolling and then getting on the throttle as soon as possible. And then this is really a fast section. It's a corner, but you can easily just keep the hammer down. Next we have a very fast corner up the hill, and it's just sweeping. And next we go to the right, and this is also difficult braking zone, and it's like 2 corners, but you make it 1 corner actually. Again, heavy braking zone.
And you saw there how the track dips away just at the exit of the corner in that final corner turn 15 or 17, I should say 16, sorry, in Lodge corner. You see how the track on the exit just dips away, and this is where you want to put the left wheel, the left front wheel completely on the inside or on top of the inside curb. And yeah, great to see that onboard camera. It's always it makes it much harder. If you look at it from the outside perspective, it's so easy to keep the car on track, but when you go on board, it's a completely different view.
I was just wondering, because we are following Kenny Liebert, who had a gap of about 8 seconds, 9 seconds, I believe, between him and Julien Agneses, but somehow this has come down quite a lot, probably while we were doing the onboard lap. I'm trying to see if he get off track somewhere.
Yeah, race control not reporting anything.
Yeah, I have found something here, I think. Oh, it's a complete spin by the leader.
Oh. And again, we were just talking about
the same corner,
that dipping away. And it's so easy to lose the car there. So Liebert lucky to keep that first position. But I think everybody has had a spin. Ronald, you probably had one as well already.
Yeah, definitely. On that corner, I've spun a few times, actually.
Yeah, I think every sim racer or even real life racer can relate to spinning around the car in that corner. But luckily, no big impact for Liebert. But as we said, as long as nothing happens, Liebert can keep the lead in this race. But yeah, an incident's always lurking around the corner, Ronald.
Yeah, and so far this is actually the, let's say, closest battle on track between Fabio Cumbo and Julien Agneses. Everybody else is, the field is quite spread at the moment. These are the 2 cars that are closest to each other, because in front Kenny Liebert is already again pulling away. But it looks like Cumbo is getting ever so wide, as we just saw, but also getting closer to Agnesis. Although you have to be careful there in that corner, as we have mentioned before, there is an off-track to pick up, and if you do that too much, you will get a penalty.
Yeah, let's not forget on Zolder we saw a couple of drive-throughs because of those off-tracks. How much is the incident limit again, Ronald?
It's 10, the first 10 incident points you will get a drive-through. If you hit 20, you are out of the race actually.
Yeah, so drivers have to be aware of those off-tracks indeed. And it's not for the people who aren't that familiar with iRacing. It's not being completely off track with 4 wheels. Sometimes it's calculated on the middle of the car. So if the middle of the car is off the island, as we say, so that's between the 2 white lines, you already get an off track. And I know Oulton, for example, where we saw that move not so long ago, that was in Knickerbrook, that's turn 12. If you go with half of your car over the white line, that's an off track. For example, here as well in turn 1, if you go with the exact middle of your car over the white line, then you get an off track, and it happens so fast when you're pushing. And you can probably bring a testimony to that, Ronald, with the MX-5 Cup when you're battling really hard.
Yeah, definitely. We have about 1 minute and a half to go in this race. So far it is still Kenny Liebert who is leading. The gap has come down a little bit again, so Agnesis is closing in. But if Liebert keeps this pace up, he should be okay. Maybe he's not even pushing that hard, not trying to take any risks, just finishing the race, avoid any incidents. And also Kumbo is close to Agnesis, but not really close enough, I think, to make a real fist. As we have about 1 minute to go, so that means this is going to be the final lap. What happened to
Liebert? Yeah, I saw him drop down the order, and he came back for a second, but now he's gone completely. Do we have an internet connection loss for Liebert? That would mean that he loses this in half an hour driving into the lead, and then because of an internet connection failure, he just drops down the order. So that means that Agnesis, because he has been so solid in that second place, will take the lead right now in our round 2 on Oulton Park for the points. And you hate to see it, but yeah, that stuff just happens at Ronald.
Yeah, I couldn't find him anymore, so indeed that connection is gone. That is just heartbreaking. That's like 60 minutes of hard racing just out of the window, gone.
And Ponchelet as well. Ponchelet has also dropped his connection. So
yeah,
maybe there is some...
That means we get Julien Agnesis as the winner of the feature race in the AM class, closely followed by Fabio Kumbo, and in P3 it will be Michael Mailleux. And then P4 for Shana Classes, just outside of the podium. Very strong race.
Very strong.
Mathieu Moll in P5. Maxime Musin running in P6. And then Nicolas Cordisco will finish in P7. Final corner for Nicolas, and then it is P7. And Tim Simon taking P8. And then I think we have all the running cars at the moment. So everybody just finished at the moment.
And we did get a confirm from Kenny Liebert in the Discord that he doesn't know what happened and that he indeed got disconnected from iRacing. That's very hard to see. We're looking at the Heat 1 results, of
Yeah.
course. Now we're looking
And
at
we,
the feature results.
We have to just go over the podium, and then we need to swap to the session of the pros already. So in P1 it was Julien Agnesis, P2 Fabio Cumbo, and then the final podium is for Michael Mayer. So I really enjoyed the races of the AM already, and looking forward to the next races, of course. So it's good to have them just in the spotlight this evening. And we're gonna take a short break so we can head over to the session of the pro drivers. So hang tight, and we'll be back in like 5 minutes. So see you soon.
And right now we're looking at the professionals already. So we're looking at the pro race. Something went wrong there with the timing, but it's yeah, quite some administrative work to get everything in working order. Of course, it's only heat 1 of these the pro class, I have to say, that we're looking at right now. So this race is not yet for the bulk of the points, or for any points, I should say. But we are looking at a quite a spicy race, I should say. We have a much bigger field going around here on Oulton Park, and they are very, very, very close here. The Gerrits is chasing Schoeneckers very closely, but being followed by, if I count it quickly, about 6 cars who are chasing behind him. So curious to see how all this will unfold and how they will qualify for that feature race, where the points, of course, will be divided. We see Le Guin and Philippaerts going into the pit, so that's probably because of an incident, or maybe because of incident points bias joining them as well over there. Let's hope that was nothing too serious. But we're looking at this big pack, of course. That's a battle for P6, but it's a 4-way battle, or a 5-way battle, I should say. It's a battle for P5, of course. And Peter's currently in the front, if I dare to say, in a comfortable lead. Crispan with a battle train of 3 people behind him, and then Schoonmakers. Yeah, that's a massive train, DRS train, as they would say in Formula 1. But these cars, of course, don't have that DRS. Now, we were already talking about, was it on Spa? I think it was on Spa. How you can see the difference on the aero on the cars. And if we're looking at this back battling right now, they all have the least aero package as possible on Oulton Park. So it seems that would be the optimal choice to go with the lesser aero pack, as we see Gimlevich trying to get past Van Gansen, and currently that's working out, but they are going towards that's the pretty risky turn. It's not Gimlevich, I'm very sorry, it's Van Gansen and Gerrits who were going towards turn 12, I think it is, of Nickerbrook. But one of them decided to pull out and race another day. As I was saying, the aero package, they're all running the minimal aero package, and we see another driver taking it to the grass and then taking a defensive inside line. There's so much going on, the camera is going in all directions. We're trying to make sense of this broadcast, but we see Taalman now putting down the fastest lap in P24. So it's chaos here at Oulton Park, as of course we see Peters still authoritarianly, if I can say so, in the lead with a 5-second gap. So that's definitely okay.
Yeah, it's a hefty night of racing so far. We had some nice AM races, and then we jumped right into the middle of the action of the pro race, the first heat, which is of course more or less like a qualifying race, so to say. And it's Vince Peters who is leading the race at the moment. Yuri Crispan in second place, and that is Taalman, but he's, I think, a lap down. So had probably some issues at the start. And then in P3 we have Sacha Gorlet. So this is really for grid position in the feature race, and that it will be the points, the race where the points are given. Erik Crispin, whoa, that was he was leaving some room for Thalmann, but just hit the back a little bit, touched the back, and that was almost an opportunity for Sacha Gorlet to attack. And also Maxime Robroek is very close, P4. So this is a nice battle between P2, 3 and 4. So no rest this evening from one action to the other. And that's the way we like it, of course.
Yeah, the difference in speed in this pro class is so little. They are driving into the back of each other. This whole heat that we've been watching so far, it's so close and so fast, and they're driving up to the millimeter. It's great racing to see. Of course, we missed the first lap because of the finish in the AM class, which is also important, of course, but it's the level of racing here is very intense as we're trying to make sense of this field, qualifying for that second heat.
Yeah, great battle between Jonathan Delforge and Jelle Verstraeten. Very, very, very close to each other, and not giving an inch to each other, just enough to race, and that's very nice to see. And also very close here is Philippe Verbert and Florent Guillaume and Peter Gosses as well. So there are some close battles throughout the field. A lot of cars in one shot, that's always a good sign.
Yeah, and one thing I've noticed, Ronald, is we're missing Baba. So this may be a golden opportunity for Peters in the overall championship standings to make up some places towards Baba, because remember, Baba was so strong in that first heat in Zolder, and I think he's one of the biggest competitors for Peters throughout the season. So that's very good news for Peters, that he doesn't have to worry about Baba this session.
Yeah, and Sacha Gorlet has gone into P2, so that means that he overtook Jiri Crispin. So let's have a look at that. Is it into the fast right-hander? Yes, it's already before there. So probably a good exit of Gorlet. Oh, hard on the curb, the car jumping around a little bit. But now using probably the slipstream of Thalmann, who is, I still believe, a lap down, but the slipstream of Thalmann could help Gorlet to get away from Crispin. And still Maxime Robroek in P4. Yeah, indeed we are missing Baba. They do have a drop round, so only 5 races, all 5 rounds, should I say, will count towards the overall position. So no harm done if you can't join a race. Everybody has got a busy schedule, so I guess that's why we know that it's not always possible to join, and that's why there's a drop round.
At a drop round, when I drove my cup races, which had drop rounds, I usually kept those drop rounds for when you have a very bad result. For example, we saw with the AMs, a car just going into turn 4, I think it was, and completely collecting the second driver. It was turn 3, by the way, collecting the driver in 3rd place. That's why I try to keep those drop rounds, because you never know what happens, and even if it's not your fault, it still influences your result. So it's a, if I dare to say, a risky move by Baba. Of course, we don't know what's going on in the personal life, and we have to respect that. But I always try to keep those drop rounds for unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah, but sometimes life gets in the way, as we see Philippe Verbert making a move on that is Jonathan Delforge. But he's
And that's
defending.
Yeah, and the slip angle on that car, I don't know if you saw that, Ronald, going into that corner. It's on the brink of oversteer, that car.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see that these guys know exactly where the limit of the car is and how not to push 1% over it. But yeah, great racing to see these guys are within half a second of each other, these three guys. Now the back car is loosening up a bit with Philippe Verbert pushing hard on Delforge, and it's great to see this racing.
Yeah, and Florent Guillaume, he's just watching what the cars in front are doing, and probably as soon as he gets the opportunity, he will make a move. He's just waiting patiently, waiting for a door to open somewhere. But so far, there's a wall of F4 cars in front of him.
So Delforge clipping a bit of the grass there, and I think Guillaume tried to make the best of it. But right now we see Verbert in front of Delforge, and even Guillaume moving
following.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, now he has the inside on Shell Oil corner. So that's a big advantage as he slides out. And we were just talking, Dront, I was just telling you, the cars are driving on the exact limit there. You saw the slip angle, the car moving in an unnatural position compared to the tires. And I think he just overcooked it, Ronald.
Yeah, it's we said before in the AM races as well. There's a kink in that braking zone just before the braking zone with these cars. You probably just have to brake just right after that kink, or maybe, and that's probably what happened there. And the car gets pushed wide a little bit as well, and then you have to hit the brakes, and it was just on the edge, like you said, Thomas, and then a little bit over the edge, and then we saw a spin.
Yeah, the thing is, you don't know where the edge of grip is, and the only way to find out is if you lose it, and it's so hard to catch that car if you go over it, and sometimes you see it go well, but sometimes, yeah, sometimes stuff happens what we just saw happening, and that has a massive impact on your race, and sad to see him go out that way, but yeah, the battling continues as we're looking at Navarro de Boever also chasing this pack of Goossens, Verzelen, Delforge, Verbert. They're a bit further up the road, but still there's a four-way car battle for P11. And
yeah,
that's
which is, it's looking like it's going to be a five-car battle actually. Before it was three cars together, and now De Boever and Matthias Lores, it is, I believe, is they are also getting closer. And indeed, the timing screen is lighting up. We have so many cars close to each other, so it's hard to keep up with everything. As Crispin is also back close to Sacha Gorlet.
Verbert and Delforge still fighting it out on the timetables. We saw a move going on there in the background. These guys still haven't finished yet. But yeah, it's all over the field as we see. Was it Verbert completely missing the corner there? Yeah. And falling back, yeah, out of touch with Delforge. Sad for him, but luckily for us, we have a little bit less action to focus on, and we can report it as accurately to you as possible, because what a race, Ronald.
Yeah, I was trying to pick a close battle, but there's so many stuff to choose from. Also, Søren Gerrits and Jasper Schoonmakers close to each other and fighting for position.
And look look at the timing board, we have these orange numbers that you can see on the timetable,
They're
or
all
normally
close.
the battles we focus on, but we have 5, 6, 7 of these battles going on at the same time, and now we're looking at Gorley trying desperately to defend that P2 with Crispin and Robroek. Yeah, breathing down his neck, waiting for a mistake to happen and trying to capitalize it as Gerrit tries to make a move on Schooneckers on the inside, but not right now. Ronald, what a race. I don't know where to look.
This is also a close battle. Ghosts on the inside. And again, another car trying to go with the flow and trying to follow Ghosts and also making a pass now close to each other. And that is Quinten Verzelen on the outside. And it was Navarro, the Boover maybe, who was trying. No. It's they're swapping positions and being close to each other. It's sometimes hard to see who is who actually. But great battle here as well. And we're talking about battles before, like P14, 15, and it's happening all over the place.
Yeah, these guys are fighting like it's the lead of the race. You love to see it. As we see Delforge and Verbert still not having decided who will be the winner of this battle. They've been going on for 4 or 5 laps, and in front of that we saw Verstraeten and Gimlevich also going at it. So it's going all over the place. What a race.
Yeah,
and I'm
and
curious to see if...
We still have 8 minutes to go. So we'll try to pick the battles as they show up on our screen.
Well, I think these guys are the ones you have to watch. The five, was it 5, 1, 2, 3, 4?
It's 5 cars indeed.
Trying to battle out who can take the lead there. And is it, maybe it's just Gosses, I think it is, who's in the lead right now with a massive defense and a great job on that, and just stacking or racking up the cars behind him like we see in a Formula 1 or any open wheeler series with DRS, just making a massive defense and there's no way around. But none of the other cars can also profit from that because everybody is in the slipstream. So curious how this will play out, and if Gosses can keep up this defense, which seems almost like an impossible task, Ronald.
Yeah, we just have to throw a dart at the live timing and we will hit a battle, that's for sure. Also a close battle still between Jelle Verstraeten and Aurélien. And that's a difficult name.
Gimlevich.
So I'm going to keep it.
I'm calling him Gimlevich.
Okay, I'm just going to say Aurélien for now. Driving for Bouts and VDS by Undercut, so also there fighting for position, and that's for position 7 and 8 between him and Jelle Verstraeten.
Navarro the Boober. What happened there?
And
I got a message from race control that he was out, but it seems like that was...
oh, he's going into pit lane. In the background, we saw him going into pit lane as we follow the battle again between Philippe Verbert and
Rez as well.
Jonathan Delforge. Yeah, maybe there was some contact, so let's have a look. I can see...
I think that was in a big battle train that we were talking about earlier.
He blinked.
And that was a blink. That was a blink.
Yeah. Oh, and then he crashed into Matthias Lores, whose wing is heavily damaged. Yeah, dropping his wing. Luckily for him, it's just close to pit lane. They do have a fast repair, so it's quick in and out, but still, losing a lot of places. So that's going to be a recovery race for him, the next race.
And that's sad to see because it's none of both cars' faults. It's just a
blink.
An internet connection issue, like we saw with Liebert in the AM class. Very sad to see, but these things happen. And we don't have any mechanical issues in iRacing. So for me, as I've been spectating many of these races, stuff like that, hardware dying or internet connection dropping. It's basically the equivalent of a turbocharger failing or whatever, an ICU. Yeah, stuff like this happens, and it's a random roll of the dice. We see these cars going very wide, Ronald.
Yeah, and still we have battles also here. A nice battle, Gilles Philippaerts and Lorenz de Vlieger. Also close to each other, so it's really all over the place. There are battles going on as Pieter Gosses and Quinten Verzelen are also close to each other again. In front, it is Jiri Crispin and Sacha Gourlet battling it out together with Maxime Robroek, while Vince Peters is leading the race and controlling the race, I guess, because there's a big gap between him and P2, about 9 seconds.
And it's the same strong performance, Ronald, we have to say.
Yeah.
Vince also on Zolder, very dominant. We were talking about Baba as well. Baba taking a second place there, but Vince Peters, very, very, very strong performance. No mistakes, no errors, just solid into the lead. So I think we have a strong contender, but I'm looking forward to see the other guys trying to make it difficult for Peters as the season progresses.
Again, this battle is heating up once more. Philippe Verbert and Jonathan Delforge. Yeah, it's almost like an attack by Delforge. No, he's just making Philip know he's there, ready to take the position. Very close now. If he can keep close into the corner and has a nice exit, this could become an attack into that difficult corner. But I think he's not close enough to. Oh, is that another blink? That's scary. Where is Philippe? He's blinking. Oh, he's now behind Delforge. So, that was.
Telenet or Proximus is having some issues.
Yeah,
tonight.
there are definitely some providers out there who are having some connection issues. Oh my god, that's really scary. And further down the road, we have about the same combination. Also, an Eagle car followed by a Boutsen car. The other way around, that is, at the moment, because we saw that Jonathan Delforge was in front of Philippe Verbert at the moment. But down the road, it's the same. So if you see another close battle, just shout Thomas, because
yeah, there are too many Ronalds. There are too many. We have a battle for
we have
a battle for P7. We have a battle for P9. We have a battle for P11. We have a battle for P2. It's all over the place. We the guys definitely, even though the time is running out, and I think we have the white flag. No, we don't. So we're going in the penultimate lap. After this one, it's the final lap. But these guys definitely aren't finished with battling yet, and they have another 30 minutes to figure out who is the fastest of these guys. But still, what a race! And yeah, what respect as well, Ronald. We have to say there's very little to none incidents, even though it's very close racing.
Yeah, so far the battles we have seen was okay. There was some contact, but it was unfortunate. Some probably internet connection issues. Although it's not always the internet connection, sometimes it can be like a Windows update suddenly starting in the background, taking all the bandwidth, and then you will struggle with the connection as well, as we see Verbert again trying to attack Delforge, who is defending.
Yeah, now we should see that white flag waving by the marshal on the start finish line, because of course we're already over 30 minutes, and that's all because of the leader being able to finish the lap under 30 minutes, which we did not have in the AM class. That's why we missed it. And
I'm
yeah,
trying to
still
get
going from Delforge.
I'm trying to
Delforge
get
in the
a...
pit lane though.
Oh, what happened?
Verzela also
Yeah,
dropping
there's a white
back
flag, that's for sure.
massively.
Could
We
that
have,
be a drive-through for Delforge? Yeah, I'm afraid so. This is a drive-through. Oh, all that fighting
that's
for
painful.
nothing.
That's very painful. But we're looking at a P1 in traffic, I think it is. Yeah, Vince Peters finding the back of the pack. But yeah, luckily he's able to navigate easily through that pack, and with one corner to go, even though it will be the tricky corner, I'm pretty sure Vince will be able to take Lodge corner without any issues. And then we see Vince Peters as the big winner of the first heat in round 2 for the Formula 4 FIA Belgian qualifiers, with Gorley putting out everything he has, taking P2, and Crispin taking P3, with the Roobroek also very close. Schoonmakers taking P5, and then Gerrits following up on P6. And then we have the difficult name. We still have to ask him how we have to pronounce it, but I'm gonna say Gimlevich, as I think it's Polish, but do correct me. And Verbert taking P8. Verstraeten coming over the finish in P9, and Goos is completing our top 10 with Guillaume Verzelen in P12, and then Delforge for Boutse in P13. Ellenbroek with a surprising, if I can say so, P14, because he's also a very strong contender, if I remember correctly. Colin taking P15. Laurès will be finishing P16, and Philippaars also a surprising P16 or P17 even. Probably because of an incident that happened earlier, because he was also one of our top 10 contenders, so surprising to see him there. And then Bayens completing our fields. Ronald, what a race. Let's run through it, and run us through it. Run us through what happened.
Let's have a look at the results, see if we have those available. Yes, we do. So in P1, Vince Peters winning the first heat, and that's making sure he's got the pole for the feature race, followed by Sacha Gorley in P2, Yuri Crispin in P3, P4 Maxime Roobroek, Jasper Schoonmakers taking P5, followed by Søren Gerrits, and in P6 that is Aurelia Gimvlevic, in P7 Jelle Verstraeten P8, Pieter Goossens P9, Florent Guillaume P10, Quinten Verzelen P11, P12 Jonathan Delforge, P13 Renzo Uilenbroek, P14 Mathieu Collin, P15 Matthias Laurès, P16 Philippe Verbert, and then P17 Gilles Philippaerts, followed by Olivier Warnier in P18. And then we have a next row to go, and then we saw Kenny Hermans in P19, Lorenzo Vlieger P20, Lucas Romano P21, P22 voor Shane van Ganzen, Marceau Guigny in P23, Stéphane Le Guin I still forgot, still need to remember how we have to pronounce that name because that's a special one as well. So sorry, Stefan, I already forgot. Alex Baez in P25. 26, it's Navarro de Boever. Lucas Taalman in P27. So that was the first heat, and that means we have now a few minutes before we go to the final race of the evening, and that is the feature race. This is where the points will be given. So we're going to take a very short break and then get back for the next race. So hold tight and we'll be back very, very soon. So warm-up is already done, almost done, I should say, about 10 seconds to go. So that means that we are getting ready to grid. And then we will watch the final race of the evening.
And it's a good idea to run through our results of the first heat we've had. We've had Vince Peters taking the win, then followed by Gorley and Crispin to complete our podium. Robroek will be taking P4, followed by Schoonmakers, Gerrits, Gimlevich, Verstraeten, Goossens, Guillaume, Verzelen, and Delforge by Boutsen VDS on P12. We see the cars already gridding, but I think we still do have time to scroll a bit further. And there we see Ellenbroek on P13. Remember that he was also a strong contender, so curious to see how he will drive this race. Colin P14, Laurès, Verbert, Philippaerts, also a strong contender. Probably you'll see him moving up. Warnier, Hermans, De Vlieger, Romano van Ganzen, Guigny, and Le Guin, who if I remember as well, also a strong contender. So we have a couple of guys who fell back a bit, but we're already looking at 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're gone.
Oh,
and we're racing for our first race going towards turn 1. We see for P3 a too wide, but a wise decision by Robroek to let him pass through. And all by all, we have a clean race start through that turn 1. Now we're funneling towards turn 4 on the inside. No real incentive now, and of course we see that spin. And how many people will he take out? It's 3 or 4 cars who will have an impact by that of their race, and
Somebody else going off.
Sadly, that will influence their race. We see a couple of guys dropping back, and let's see who stayed out of trouble there. Vince Peters still 1 second ahead, but the rest of the field very close, Ronald.
Yeah, it was a bit of a hectic start. It was Sasha Gorley couldn't get the traction on the grid, lost position there, and then we saw a few cars going off by an incident, and also one car going off at just before the hairpin it was. So a lot of stuff going on. If we find some peace, we can try to have a look at that, but at the moment there's action all over the place again, so we will try to keep up with everything that is going on and just pick out the battles we see happening, as we see here between Aurelien Gimlevich and Søren Gerrits, who takes the position on the inside into the first corner. And also Verzele quite close now. So much stuff going on. Ullebroek is also there. He has to make up places. And another car going off. That's Verzele, who is taking the scenic route there. But what an action-packed field is this?
We saw some movement. At the front, it's pretty stable, Ronald. The top 7 has been mainly the same. We saw Crispin taking the second place from Gorley, which now has been undone, which is the commentator's curse, of course. So our top 7 has stayed the same since the start, but we saw some big movers. Guillaume moving up, Allenbroek moving up 4 places, Delforge Laurès also 4, Verbert 4 places up, and then Gols is the big loser. Verzele also, as you mentioned, losing 6 places, who's now clawing back Verzele, and lost only 5 places. But what a start, what an action-packed start, Ronald.
Yes, and again, just throw a dart at the timing and you will see a battle. So easy it is to pick up the action, but there's so much action going on, so it's not always easy to pick the battles and to show all, because it's just too much, as we see Renzo Ullebroek into P8 at the moment. And they are quite evenly matched, these guys.
Yeah, here it's dropping a bit of a gap, so I'm curious to see if Guillaume or Ullebroek will be pushing him to be able to close up towards the top 3, or Crispin or Gorley, I should say, because Peters 2 seconds loose from the rest of the pack, so Peters again making a statement and dominantly in the lead, but the rest of the pack is still figuring out who will take which position, as we see Guillaume making a move on Gerrits in a very unorthodox place. It's a very, very difficult move to make there,
yeah,
and we're not done yet.
follow.
Moving towards Druids. Yeah, moving towards Druids. We saw a spinner.
Was it a spin? I saw smoke, but indeed there was. And then this battle between Ullebroek, Gerrits, Guillaume.
Hey, Gorley got lost there. Gorley got lost in the pack, and he misbraked himself, lock up completely into the barriers of Druids.
Yeah,
and that's a race over for him. Complete spin.
Yeah, he was running up front, so that means
P2,
that...
P3.
Yeah. But it happened already before, so he was in trouble already. Oh, he's going wide here.
Maybe it was just, it's a case of pushing too hard to try and keep that lead because Ronald, let's not forget there were 10 or 15
and
cars.
off again. Just, oh yeah, he's really struggling. But we have to go back to the live feed because otherwise we will just miss out
There's
on
too much stuff, yeah.
on too much action.
But it might just be a case of having too much pressure, because if you look at this timing table, I think we have 15 cars within 3 seconds. Let's not underestimate what pressure it is for these drivers to be in that exact position and having 15 cars breathing in your neck. And we were talking about the slip angle as we see Renzo Ellenbroek having a bit of a wiggle out of Druix. It's, yeah, what a competition. It's crazy close.
Yeah, and maybe Gourlet, it could also be some technical issues because if we check the timing, then you can see him going off a few times. So maybe there was some issues with the steering wheel not working completely as it should.
And maybe we did miss a contact at the beginning. Because
Gerrits is also falling down.
Yeah, that's here. It's completely dropping off the table, sadly, and even into the pits right now. So that's probably a toe, if I can say so.
Yeah, he jumped to pit lane. Not sure what happened there. There's no incident showing up, so something awkward happened there as well. So maybe just have a look at up front. There's Vince Peters leading the race. Again, quite dominantly, and then we have this nice battle between Maxime Robroek and Jiri Crispijn. Robroek now in second place, so he was able to overtake Crispijn, and they are visited by Jasper Schoonackers, who is also driving a hell of a race at the moment, running in P4. So let's see if we can have a look at what happened or when the move was made by Maxime Robroek. Also in the fast right-hander on the inside. And then, yeah, there's really no point to turn in. Crispijn couldn't turn in. The car of Robroek was next to him, so...
Very difficult place.
Yeah,
to
that would have been
overtake.
quite foolish to do so. While we see Kenny Hermans running the fastest lap at the moment. Together with close to Lucas Taalman, who we saw, I believe he was classified also right at the back of the order.
Yeah, Taalman.
What a race so far.
I was just looking at it.
Yeah.
Taalman
Oh,
making
that's a
14
lunge
positions.
there by, was it Olivier? No, it was Quinten Verzela, I believe, probably on Hermans, who was quite lucky there. And I thought, as you remember, I said in the Mazdas you can push a little.
Oh.
Apparently you can do so. You can do so with the F4. Oh, somebody went off there. 2 cars going off. That's one of the Flemish cars. Was that Philippaerts?
We see Philippaerts dropping down the table, as well as Coulet, as well as Ellenbroek.
Oh, Ellenbroek as
Ellenbroek
well.
also had a massive gain. He was 8 places up from his start. And that's all thrown into the gutter because of a contact there.
The front wheel, yeah. And then let's have a quick look at what happened to Renzo Ellenbroek.
Into Druids.
Into
Into Druids. It's such a technical, it's such a difficult section because the car takes all kinds of twists and turns. And it's so easy to make contact there. You hate to see it because Ellenbroek, 8 positions from the start. But let's again, Ronald, you were talking about it, but you couldn't finish the sentence because of all the action going on. Taalman made up 18 positions from the start. 18 positions.
Yeah, and
from
also
the starting
Hermans as
position.
well gained a lot of places. Again, a battle here for P3 between Crispijn and Florent Guillaume, who is also having a great race now in P3. Schoonackers also close to Jiri Crispijn. Because we saw Florent Guillaume, I believe, and Ellenbroek, they were close to each other, so they were able to get closer to Robroek and Crispijn. But then Alruk had an issue, but it's Guillaume who is continuing without any issues so far, and now trying to chase Maxime Robroek.
Ronald, we really have to have a look at Thalman. He made up 21 positions meanwhile. He started last, dead last, and meanwhile he's in P6.
Yeah,
Take a bow, Thalman. What an insane drive by Thalman.
I believe something happened to Kenny Hermans as well, actually, because he was close to Thalman, but then he's now further down.
He still made up 10 positions from his starting position, though.
Yeah.
So also
strong
great
race.
move. Yeah, we have a couple of very strong ascenders and a couple of very strong descenders, of course. But Thalman sticking out, shoulders, neck and shoulders. It's what a race by
Hermans making a
Thalman.
move now on Verbert. That's also tricky there. Oh. Pooh. I don't think you could put a piece of paper between those wheels, actually.
I'm already clenching my butt cheeks. I don't know what these guys are doing, but Jesus. Great racing we're seeing here for the FIA Formula 4 qualifiers for the Belgian representation at the FIA Motorsport Games, of course, but great racing all around by these guys, and we're still not done yet as we're looking at Colin, and in the front we see there also a move being made a bit further up ahead, but these guys are not giving each other an inch, Ronald.
No, it's again the same as before. Just throw a dart at the timing screen. I've told it a few times already this evening, and you will find a battle. So let's have a look at this one between Quinten Verzelen, Stéphane Le Guin, and Mathieu Collin. And also Lorenz de Vlieger is very close there, closing in. And then we have Sacha Gourlet, who is now running in P13. Before he was running in P2, but I think he probably had some issues with his equipment. I think.
And it's also in the front indeed. Good focus on Delforge because it's a very technical section going through City Hall 13, 14 towards Druids. We've talked about it in the AM races. The track keeps moving towards the left as you're going towards the right corner. It's very difficult in that braking zone, and then he finally is able to make that.
If he can put his car there and keep it the inside for the next car. No, he's not. He's losing out on speed. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there, Thomas, but
no,
I just I see some stuff right and now. I just shout. And this battle, these battles, I should say, are coming together. We had two separate battles going on, but this is becoming a battle between how many cars? Is it 7?
I think it's.
I think it's.
I think it's almost 10, Ronald.
Oh, contact!
Oh,
Contact!
No!
Big crash! Oh, Gosses got through. Verbert seems to got through as well. Hermans as well. And also Lores, but who was losing out there? Looks like, Gourlet is involved. It seems Jonathan Delforge as well. It was, let's have a look if we can see. Not trying to do too many replays because otherwise we miss so many live action. But let's have a look what happened here. This is already after the incident. That car is ruined.
A broken steering wheel or a steering connector, steering rod connection that's already broken off because of that incident. But somebody got caught on the wheel, the front wheel on the back wheel of another car, contact, and then just flying over. Then there's no, you're just a passenger.
Ooh.
You're just a passenger there. Gourlet with nowhere to go once that contact has been made. And let's hope that the other drivers also understand that once that contact has been made, yeah, you're just that there are only targets in that hairpin, and oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's sad to see, but that's what happens with this close racing, Ronald.
Yeah, nothing. That's probably something the stewards will have a look at after the race. So we have Jasper Schoonmakers now in front of Jiri Crispijn. While we were trying to see what happened in that incident, Schoonmakers was in front, and now it's back Jiri Crispijn. Or am I just...
Crispijn did pass.
Did pass, yes. I was looking at the timing too. Whoa, that's quite a mistake there. He's lucky to keep the car out of the scenery.
And it's that old school track biting back, Ronald, as you said from the beginning at the AM race.
And look at this.
Nickerbrook, it's so important to get it right, and every driver here wants to get the maximum amount of speed out of every corner, but sometimes you do get punished for it. When one wheel gets into the grass, you're basically finished and you can't get it back on track.
Yeah. The one that is not being punished at the moment is Florent Guillaume, as he moves into second place. We saw him somewhere around, was it P8, fighting with Allebroek, P8, P7, currently up into P2. And that
what a race.
Leaves Maxim Robroek at P3, Jiri Crispijn and Schoonmakers 4 and 5. And then we have Hermans, who's also fighting back. He's now in P6, in front of Taalman, who he was fighting with already. And now is it Taalman who is right beneath the wing of Hermans. But again, these two, they made up a lot of places, and are heading towards P5. If they don't make it, make life too hard for each other. I think they have the speed, they have the pace to get back into that battle between P4, P5.
Yeah, Ron, that's the thing they don't know. Hermans made up 13 positions. Taalman made up 20 positions. These guys don't know that they are currently, if not for Vince Peters, the fastest of the pack, and they will continue to battle each other. And that's the disadvantage of not having a race engineer. If these guys would just drive next to each other or after each other, allowing Hermans to pull the slipstream for Taalman and just moving up towards that front pack, they would be able to probably take that podium place maybe even. But they simply do not know that they are currently the two fastest cars on track, except for Vince Peters. They do not know, and they will continue battling like this.
Yeah, but they do have a lot of experience. Kenny Hermans, also a real-life racing driver, so he probably knows he can read the race. I'm quite sure about that. Taalman, I think he has some experience as well in sim racing, that's for sure, because you can't be that fast and not have any experience. I mean, he has an I rating of 7,000, so these guys know that they should have enough experience to read the race and to see, okay, the cars up front, we are closing the gap. Just push as hard, and then once we get close to those, if we can overtake them, then it's just gloves off, and then we will fight till the end between us. But now they just have to work together. They have to push each other without attacking constantly. Just push, 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 and try to close the gap between them and Jasper Schoonmakers and Jiri Crispijn.
And it seems like they got the message, Ronald, because we saw that they're not really attacking anymore as it stands right now. Maybe we even see a bit of pushing going ahead, but
they're
then
on the edge.
losing a bit of oversteer there going into that corner. But of course, we're not only looking at Hermans and Taalman, we also have Verbert. And I think it was Laurès who were fighting it out, but also Bayens.
Yeah, we have Laurès and Verbert close to each other. And then further down the field there, the field is a little bit more spread. We have a lot of cars a lap down already due to some incidents. But up front, I think this is for now the most... the battle that's the most important. Not only the battle between these two cars, but just to see they have about let's say 9 minutes to close the gap between them and the cars in front. If we have a look at the lap times, then they are gaining definitely. Not very much, but still they are gaining. So yeah, they have just one job. It's close the gap and then just fight whenever the gap is closed. That they can just throw the gloves away and go bare knuckle with each other. But for now, they just have to push to get back to that P5 spot.
In the top 10, we still have a lot of battling going on. We have the battle for P4, the battle for P6, battle for P8. We're currently looking at the battle for P8 between Laurès and Verbert, who I think it was also them who were battling in our first heat, who are not yet sure of who's the fastest of them two. But they still have 10 minutes to figure that out. And then Kenny Hermans and Taalman are still trying to find that connection towards Schoonmakers and Crispijn to try and get that P4. And Crispijn and Schoonmakers, of course, are figuring out who can take P4. Maybe they're also working together, moving towards that P3.
That looks like a bit of a lockup by one of the cars. Not sure if it was Crispijn or Schoonmakers. But indeed, they have the same problem. They have to fight each other. They have to fight for position. But they also know if we fight too hard, then we make it easy for the guys behind us to get back. So also a dilemma for those guys as well. Currently, the gap between Schoonmakers and Hermans is 1.6, so it would be nice to have a look at that. And there is something went wrong between these two cars. It's so they collected each other.
It's a very
difficult.
risky place to make an overtake. You're already on the edge, and then you're trying to place that car next to another car that's already on the edge. If it works, it works, but it's almost always a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, we have seen a few moves working out there quite nicely, but it's indeed so close, and just the slightest of touches will just kill both of the cars most cases. Very unfortunate, yeah.
Guillaume doing a pretty good job here compared to the last time out, because I don't think he's...
Yeah, he showed pace, that's for sure. I can't remember indeed which place he got in the end in the feature race, but he is definitely also one of the very fast guys, and Crispijn and Schoonmakers are fighting for position. And as we look at Crispijn and Schoonmakers, there is the dynamic duo of Hermans and Taalman. Taalman looking for the same piece of tarmac, trying to follow Hermans. Schoonmakers defending.
What a round we will see here,
Schoonmakers
What a
goes
round we will
wide.
see here. if we can, maybe we can take it on board on Hermans, because this will be a massive battle that we will see here. We were talking 5 minutes for the new viewers. 5 minutes ago, we were talking about Hermans and Taalman trying to get a connection towards Schoonmakers and Crispin. Schoonmakers are looking at the car in front right now, and these guys were working together, Hermans and Taalman, to get a connection towards Schoonmakers. They were 2 seconds ahead, and they completely destroyed that gap to try and get that P4 position. These guys will indeed now throw off the gloves and go for that 3rd position, but of course first they will have to get past Schoonmakers first, and Schoonmakers will not take it easy as they go too wide towards Druids. That's Hermans going next to Schoonmakers. Hermans has the inside. Hermans will go past, but then Taalman will also be knocking at the door and trying to get on the inside. But Hermans, Schoonmakers will not be taking it easily. Taalman on the inside now from Schoonmakers. Taalman taking P6 from Schoonmakers. Schoonmakers having to take enough with that P7, because these guys are so fast, and what a cooperation, even though they are enemies. Ronald, what a drive from these guys.
Yeah, and it was Schoonmakers who was very polite indeed, leaving not only the door open but also the gate. But I think he knew he was on the outside, so it was very hard to defend. Once a car is next to you on the inside, it's a done deal. And now it's Hermans who is hunting for Jiri Crispijn. And then Taalman needs to try to close the gap as well, as we see Hermans going for the inside. This is the risky overtake, although it's done before the corner even. So Hermans moving into P4. Followed by Crispijn, who is being visited by Taalman.
Taalman on the inside towards Druids. Taalman on the inside towards Druids, and he will take that position.
Yeah.
And it's very smart from Crispijn to not try and put too much into the way of Taalman, because it's such a risky corner. We already saw contact in the corner before that between Verbert and who was it? I'm not sure. But there has been plenty of contact in that 3rd sector because it's so close. And then Taalman and Hermans, as we have predicted, have been working together to get past that group that's now behind them, being Crispijn, or is it Schoonmakers? Yeah, Crispijn and Schoonmakers. Yep. They have been past them, and what a teamwork. Even though they are, let's say, frenemies for now, by Hermans and Taalman, and they have been our strongest
duo.
Duo, I would say. 15 positions gained for Hermans from the start and 22 for Taalman, but there have been plenty because Le Guin has gained 14 positions. From the start. The Boever 15 positions from the start. Bayens 12 positions from the start. There have been a lot of losers.
Oh,
but of course
Hermans
there's been a lot
going
of
wide.
gainers, as we see Hermans.
Yeah, they have to push now. It's gloves off. They're not going to make it to P3, I believe. That's a 4-second gap. So that's going to be hard. So now it's gloves off and just... it's going to be the battle between Taalman and Hermans, as we have still Vince Peters leading I should say easily.
Hermans!
Hermans, what happened there? Was there...
That's a drive-through. 100% that's a drive-through.
Yeah. Probably, let's have a look. Was it here? No, that's all that was before.
Yeah, too many incident points. He's been off track for 10 times, and that means
this was
that we see Hermans. Yeah. Hermans taking a drive-through and completely ruining his race and falling back all the way. And Taalman will be very thankful for that, because he's been using that slipstream for ages and moving up towards P4. And as Ronald already said, P3 will be too far, but he will be very grateful for that.
Yeah, we have to keep an eye on Vince Peters. Although there's a nice battle also going on between Pieter Goossens and Mathieu Collin. but we have to see where is he, because I'm not
Because
sure
of
if
the
he will
finish, yeah.
take the checkered flag already. I think so. Because we are... Yeah, that's white flag, not the finish. I think it's white flag.
2
that's
seconds.
yeah, just barely made it. But indeed, 1 lap to go for Vince Peters, who's leading the race. Then Florent Guillaume and Maxime Robroek in P3. And then it's Lucas Taalman. Yeah, we saw them very close to each other, and they were bum drafting. I can't believe it, because it's with an F4, but that could also become an incident point. If you just touch the other car a little bit too hard, it could add up, and then just a few off tracks, and that incident limit of 10 is quickly reached. As you see, we have about 22 laps
We're also
done.
looking at P9 and P11,
Yeah.
Ronald. Let's
Yeah.
not forget that Goossens and Colin are still fighting, and Le Guin
Yeah.
and the Boever as well. They were within 1/10. We
Yeah.
don't have time to talk about other stuff because there's so
Yeah.
much happening right now. Goossens, who is still chasing in the final round, Colin for that 8th position, and the Boever going into turn 1 was underneath 1/10 of a difference
Yeah.
between Le Guin.
Just going to have a look at Schoonakers, because he is now in front of Crispijn and made it stick there as well. Let's go back live, pick up Vince Peters, because he is taking the checkered flag. Then we have Florent Guillaume taking P2, and he looks quite happy. Solid podium finish for Maxime Robroek, and then Lucas Taalman with a major comeback race. Jasper Schoonakers taking P5 and Jiri Crispijn in P6. And then we have Kenny Hermans still in P7, even though he had a drive-through. So still a great result. Peter Goossens and Mathieu Collin. That's the sprint to the end. And I think it was Goossens who took the position. Stéphane Le Guin is also there, followed closely by Navarro de Boever. Then we have Philippe Verwert, and is it one of the Boutzen cars? We have also Alex Baez, Shane van Ganzen, and then it's Gilles Philippaerts in P15. Laurens de Vlieger is also finishing his race in P16. So, yeah, a lot of stuff happened. We saw great racing. Also, a lot of casualties, to be honest. There was some issues at the start of the race. And a few people who just got unlucky because the car spun and then they got collected into the mayhem. But let's have a look at the results.
Let's have a breather.
Yes.
Because it was insane. Of course, we have as a winner again. Congratulations, the same winner as I think we had in our first round, Vince Peters, making a very strong move in the standings of the season, as Baba did not make a appearance here. Guillaume taking 2nd place with only 6 seconds of a difference. Robroek taking 3rd place to complete our podium. Then Taalman is one of our biggest climbers, I should say, taking 4th position. Schoonakers taking P5. Crispijn taking P6. Hermans taking P7. Goossens P8. Followed by Colin Le Guin to complete our top 10, I should say. Navarro de Boever taking P11, Verwert taking P12, Bayens, then Van Ganzen, Philippaerts with a surprising P15. We're not used to that, seeing all the competition he's driven in open wheelers. And De Vlieger taking P16, Delforce 17, and Guigny taking P18. Continuing our field, we see Warnier taking 19, Laurest P20, Verzelen A21, Gorley, Ellenbroek also surprising, dropping out of the competition with 12 laps to go. And then Gerrit's also a strong contender. Gimlevich, who we also have seen in the front of the pack. Verstraeten and Romano. So a very eventful race, Ronald. Even though we had a lot of people who had a DNF, there were still a lot of battles going on in the front as well.
Yeah, there were battles all over the place. That's for sure. Yeah, it was so exciting. That 30 minutes just flew by as if they were nothing, because there was so much action going on. It was sometimes very hard to follow. Not always easy to elaborate on stuff. So let's have a talk with a few people. I would say he was not in this race, but he did won the AM race. So let's have a talk with Julien Agneses. Good evening, Julien.
Evening.
You won the final race of the AM category. Although I do think you feel sorry for your teammate because he just lost the connection.
Yeah, it feels a bit sour. If
Yeah.
I could turn the race one lap back, I would do it because he really deserved that win. He was fast. All the race before, he really deserved that victory.
Yeah, indeed. It was heartbreaking to see that in the end his connection just dropped, and I think it even was in like the final lap, or almost
the final lap,
or the lap before or
first
something.
corner.
Yeah.
The final lap. It was the final lap because I saw the white flag.
Yeah.
He was in front of me, and in the first corner, after first corner, he was gone.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear him, I couldn't see him, and he was gone.
No.
So yeah.
Yeah,
We're talking about
very
it.
difficult. Yeah, very sorry to see that happen. But tell us about your race.
Well, the first race, I had a bit of difficult start with the little pin. I had to take evasion actions, and then I had a pretty nice race back up in front till fourth, and then I made a little mistake. I had a spin, and then that race was over. I finished sixth. And then my second race was a pretty good one. I did some nice moves, and then I could fight up till second place. And I could keep a nice distance between me and Columbo, I think it was.
Indeed, was Cum, klopt, indeed.
And then the last we were on the way to have a 1-2 finish. We wanted to finish next to each other, have a nice big picture, but then disaster strike, the disconnect, and
Well, unfortunate to see that happen, but still, you got also a deserved win, and the win stays within the team, so that's at least that. Is there anybody you would like to thank, Julien?
Especially Kenny himself. I mean, he always gives me good tips on how to race and where to take my turns and take my braking. I also want to thank my friends that were watching from home. It's always nice to hear that, and also it was nice. Thank you to everybody, and thank you even to the other guys for having some nice racing. It was clean and fair.
Yeah, definitely
really loved it.
Well, thank you, Julien, for joining, and of course, we hope to see you back next race. So, a good evening, enjoy the victory, and give your teammate a hug, I would say, and then you will be come back stronger next race. So,
exactly.
Have a good evening.
Exactly. Bye.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Next, have a chat with Vince Peters. Good evening, Vince, and congratulations again with a victory.
Thanks, Ronald. It was a fun race.
Was it fun because you were just leading and you didn't really have to battle, actually?
No, that was lucky. I think I just had perfect stars each time, and then just that little bit of an edge. Sasha was quick at the beginning, but I guess he just spun on his own. But for the rest, it was quite fine. Although the session was really tricky. There was like 30 kph wind, and I had some mega snaps in all corners basically, so wasn't as comfortable as Solder, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tricky, it's a tongue twister, but it's a tricky track. This old school, it's fast, sweeping corners. You have a lot of elevation changes. Once you're in the flow, it works out well. But if you just like put the foot somewhere wrong, it feels like everything is just the whole lap is gone completely.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, your teammate Renzo, because he's also driving for the same team, he had a less of his evening was not that good. So I don't know if you have any updates on him.
Yeah, I think Renzo is not really a fan of the car because
okay.
yesterday night we talked and he hadn't practiced yet.
Yeah.
So I think his motivation is a bit low.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, and it was also a big miss to miss Erin today because we practiced a lot today together. But for the rest, yeah, let's hope they come back stronger next race.
Yeah, well, they have to come back strong because if they have to face you, they they have to be 100% focused. That's for sure. Glad you enjoyed the race. Are there any people you would like to thank?
Yeah, Erin, Kenny, Lucas Romano for practicing together. It's always fun practicing for these events, and you for organizing this.
No problem, and indeed, training together is quite fun, especially with a nice group of people to hang out with. That's a great way to practice. So, congratulations, Vince, and we will see you next time.
See ya. Bye bye.
Goodbye. Okay, Thomas, we're going to have a chat with Maxime. So you take it away.
Hi, Maxim. How's your race been? Strong performance, I think. I see Rolbroek to the P3. So that's, I think that's good for the championship for you, right?
Hey, mag ik dat Nederlands antwoorden?
Zeker. Van mij mag je dat, ja. Ik weet niet of de sponsor u misschien dan gaat afschieten en zeggen dat je niet meer mee mocht doen, maar go ahead.
Ik ga het erop wagen.
Voilà.
Nee, het was wel een leuke race, derde, dus ik denk wel dat ik wel wat puntjes kan sprokkelen in het kampioenschap. Dus ja, het was wel een heftige race. Zowel de heat race als de feature race was wel intens, omdat het zo een small circuit is. Ja, het was leuk.
Ja, we hebben het erover gehad. Hè. Het is echt een oldschool circuit, maar je moet toch op heel veel bochten, ook al lijkt het smal, moet je toch elke millimeter proberen pakken om toch die snelheid erin te houden, want anders wordt het rechte stuk gewoon volledig voorbijgestoken. Hoe heb je dat ervaren om toch elke keer op de limit moeten zitten, of is het al bij al een beetje safe kunnen houden?
Vooral in het eerste deel van de race was de fingers crossed om geen off-stress te pakken. Dat was echt zo snel mogelijk meegaan in de draft. Maar ik zeg het, het is een heel smal circuit en er zijn heel wat fouten gemaakt of accidenten. En waardoor dat er eigenlijk redelijk wat grote gaten kwamen. Ik heb dan eigenlijk in de eerste heat heel snel kunnen draften, samen met Jiri en Sasha, dacht ik. En in de tweede race opnieuw kunnen draften door een gelukje. En dan dacht ik van ik ga nu zo snel mogelijk toch die derde plaats pakken, of die tweede plaats pakken. Omdat Sasha daar gecrashed was. Maar dan kwam Guillaume en wist ik van daar kan ik niet echt iets tegen beginnen. Ja, en dan heb ik gewoon terug zijn draf gepakt en daarvan kunnen profiteren. En dan op het einde heb ik hem laten rijden omdat ik mijn off-tracks een beetje beperken. Omdat ik zag dat ik toch wel redelijk dicht bij die 10 off-tracks aan het komen was. Dus.
Ja, Guillaume inderdaad, sterke race gereden, 8 posities gestegen, maar achter jou ook Taalman gefinished, 23 posities gestegen. Heb je daar iets van gemerkt, dat die gigantisch dichterbij kwam? Heb je zien climben door de standings, of is dat iets wat je volledig gemist hebt op dat vlak?
Oh, ik ga heel de tijd naar mijn standings zitten kijken. Ik zou dat beter afzetten om niet mijn focus te verliezen, maar ik zit constant naar mijn relative te kijken. Maar ik kon het wel, het gat naar de achtervolgers wel redelijk in toon houden. Maar dan zag ik ook Kenny en Taalman heel dicht komen. Maar ja, ik wist dat op 4 seconden, op 5 ronden tijd, dan moet er al heel veel gebeuren om dat toe te rijden. Dus dat was wel op dat moment wel safe modus.
Dan nog één laatste vraag. Als ik kijk naar de topspeed, liggen jullie met de top 3 eigenlijk gigantisch onder alle volgers. Hè? Vince Peters met een topspeed van 199, Guillaume 192, jij 205 en al de rest ligt boven de 220. Hebben jullie expres iets van meer downforce genomen of heb je daar niet bewust bij stilgestaan?
Daar ben ik niet van op de hoogte. Ik denk gewoon omdat ze daar treintjes rijden achteraan, dat ze echt wel heel veel kunnen draften. Dat wel een groot voordeel is om zo'n grote topsnelheid te pakken. Ik zelf heb wel een redelijk hoge downforce gepakt, omwille van die carousel en die snelle bochten op het einde. Maar echt puur op topsnelheid denk ik niet dat ik daar heel veel in kon betekenen. Dus ik denk gewoon puur op draft.
Alleszins heel sterke wedstrijd, Maxime.
Okay.
We kijken uit naar de derde ronde. En proficiat met het derde trapje op het podium.
Oké. Merci.
Ja, proficiat Maxime en merci om erbij te zijn.
Ja, dankjewel.
Een fijne avond, dag.
Yo.
So, those were all the interviews and all the racing is finished. We had 2 hours of racing going on with 2 heat races in each class. I have enjoyed I would almost say every F race. Yes, there were some incidents, but the racing overall, there was some very nice battles to show. So I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, maybe next time Ronald will start a StarGrid TV B channel so that we can try to get every move and all the action on the track across to you guys. Big shout out to Ronald for handling the cameras and the replays and commentating at the same time. Great work on that part. And yeah, we love to see you guys on the next broadcast that we have planned. I think within 2 weeks' time, Ronald, enlighten me.
Yeah, the schedule is every 2 weeks, so that means that next race will be the 21st of May, and we are visiting Circuit Zandvoort.
Ooh, that's bound to get some spectacle again.
Yes.
With a lot of tight and twisty sections and some narrow roads. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are as well. Thank you for watching StarGrid TV. I'd like to thank my co-host and producer Ronald Mons and all the sponsors we have here as well. And I hope to welcome you within 2 weeks at Zandvoort. Thank you all for watching and a good night.
I could not have said it better. So thank you, Thomas, as well for the excellent commentary, and see you also next time. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And like Thomas said, have a good night.